appreciate it. I also kind of, almost by way of proxy, I'm still in that world. Like I shoot a lot of commercials for studio equipment, and I've been in like, I don't even know, every studio in LA. So I've just seen how these guys create, whether you're creating scores, this, that, and the other. And I just see how incredibly, I appreciate what you guys do, because it's so much more complicated than I thought it was, you know? I'm looking at like, I did something with, oh man, what was his name? He's this famous mixer. He did, guy did Pirates of the Caribbean, and he mixes for Hans Zimmer. I can't remember his name right now.
Alan Meyerson.
Yeah, Alan Meyerson. And I did a thing with him, and I'm watching him Pro Tools. He has like 290 layers. He has like, and he's like, this is just the string section. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, I got to sit with him. He's amazing. That guy is
insane.
Awesome.
Yeah. But seeing what you guys do and how complicated it really is to give it that, you know, the texture and the lushness, and to take moments and bring them up further than what we already had. And then maybe in moments bring them further down than what we already had. And I think it's an incredibly, I think, underappreciated part of the medium. I really think so, because, and also another thing too is lack of score. You could say, we could be like, it really needs score here. It can't have score here. And I think that I think it makes you hyper aware of where score works and it doesn't, you know?
Yeah, I just to add, I'm a musical person myself. I was always a singer growing up. That was like my first love. And
see that guitar? I see it.
It's right there. It's right there.
Hey, we're gonna
just
make
reminding you
that
guys that I'm musical, okay?
okay?
No, but my boyfriend is a music producer, and he uses Ableton and Pro Tools and all these different production software. And I always considered myself musical until I saw him put together a song through that software. And it's amazing the layers that go into it and the complications. And then he'll be like, do you hear that? And I don't, but then he takes it out, and I realize how it completely changes the song and the vibe and the impact of it entirely. So that has been something that I've been new to and learning as somebody who I considered myself musical. And now I couldn't do what you guys do. It's incredible. So so props to you for having that ear. Yeah.
We don't usually talk about music this much in these panels, but you know, music is such an integral component of the film. I think it's worth it spending this time here. So I appreciate you all giving your input on that, because what a fantastic score. You know, I think someone's going to ask this, but let me beat them to the punch. Alex, is this going to be released? Are we going to get a vinyl pressing?
I would love for it to get a vinyl pressing. I don't know if that's going to happen yet. We definitely have, it's out on Amazon, iTunes, and I think like Spotify. So you can listen to it. As for a physical release, I'm not quite sure. That's up in the air. I'd like to. I mean, because it's always a dream to get stuff like printed on vinyl. As a musician, it's like a dream come true. But I don't know yet. So keep your eyes open.
Right on. Hey, and we'll let our readers know on Dread Central. You just let us know when that happens. We'll let everyone know where they can get it, when they can get it, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, I want to apologize. I understand we've had a couple little hiccups along the way. Thank you guys who are watching this stream for sticking with us. Technology is a crazy thing that, you know, we never know what's going to happen, but we're all still here, and we're just going to push forward because, this is what we do, and it's great to have this time to spend with these filmmakers. Jacob, something I want to talk to you a little bit about is the villain of Dreamcatcher. One of the things that's so immediately evocative about the film is we have a masked villain, and we love masked villains. We love our Jasons, we love our Ghostfaces, and you've created a new masked villain in DJ Dreamcatcher. I wanted to talk to you about how important masks were to you, and if you could tell us a little bit about how the design for DJ Dreamcatcher came about, the process involved in bringing this very compelling mask to life.
Absolutely. I think when you have a slasher film, the first thing people are going to ask about is the iconography, right? I mean, that when you're referencing Jason and Ghostface, and you have to really create something that is at first glance inherently tied to whatever your film is, you know? And for me, when I was writing the script, and I really had no idea what that mask was going to be. Like, I knew it needed to be something that, you know, was repeatable. Whoever could put on the mask would become that person. You know, that was one of the reasons why I set the film in the world of EDM, because it gave us that in without any questions asked. Because you've got Marshmello, you've got Deadmau5, you've got Daft Punk, you've got all these people that they put on that mask and they become that character instantaneously, and you don't have to. There's no backstory behind it. It's a visual thing that the audience buys into, and so we don't have to spend 35, 40 minutes of the movie trying to establish a mythos on why this mask is this mask. It's like, it's a DJ's mask, and that DJ is, you know, famous, and so if anybody wants to go out and buy that mask or wear that mask, they could probably get it. You know, just same reason if you wanted a Deadmau5 helmet, you could probably find one. And so when it came time to the actual design phase, I brought in this artist I used to work with at Marvel. His name's Josh Herman, incredibly talented guy. He had done Groot for Guardians of the Galaxy. He did a number of the Iron Man suits for the Iron Man films, and just had a really great sensibility with creating something that's also practical. So when we started to do the design, he would do it all in 2D. Just some sketches to try to figure out what those design lines were going to be, kind of like what the shape was going to be. And I love this idea of kind of like an exaggerated human face, if we just kind of stretched the human face, and then integrating elements of owls, because I think we all think that, you know, those big, creepy, haunting, vacant eyes are just evocative of a great juxtaposition to a DJ who's spinning music. So, you know, creating a level of with just those angles, like those sharp angles on the face, the weaving of a Dreamcatcher into the mask to kind of create, you know, again, a tether, and the eyepiece being the center, right? So like in the folklore of a Dreamcatcher, in some stories, kind of a pull to the, you know, certain things. So I thought the center of a Dreamcatcher to the center, especially with the eyes, because Winder of the Soul, no soul. So it kind of, you could create soul. And then also just injecting a little paradise. So, you know, there's a lot of the musical, so kind of a happenstancey thing, and trying to find a way to pay homage to that in certain ways, with also, you know, but also a modern twist to times.
Well, that's very interesting until you mentioned it, but now I'm seeing a little there too, in a good way. You're right that you know, important for it to be really cool looking. You achieved that. Could people out of it, or were they totally blind when they were wearing it?
It was tough because Ryan Powers standing for the character whenever, you know, the person's for the mask, you can't see anything, which is funny. Like originally there were actually eyepieces that went in, so there were, you know, they weren't black holes, but those were even color of, and you know, this is got, you know, the first day it's like you can't see anything. So then we took the eyepieces out, and the helmet, because it was 3D printed and it functions more like a mask versus a helmet, because, you know, a helmet's like a full headpiece, and this is more like a mask you could pull over. We were trying to do that in a way to balance that practicality so it didn't bob if he's running, or if, you know, they're jumping or something, like kind of like moving all over the place. But yeah, it was a tough role because you couldn't see much at it. You know, good on the actors that could make it seem like you could see perfectly.
No, yeah, it was awesome stuff. Let me pivot back over to Elizabeth, because I want to talk a bit about your character Ivy. She's so complex. There's so much going on with her. Can you describe, how would you describe Ivy and kind of the journey she goes on throughout Dreamcatcher?
So, you know, Ivy comes in at the beginning and she's been away from her sister for some time. And sort of the backstory there is that we lost our parents, and we dealt with the loss of that in different ways. And essentially I kind of broke away from her, and I went off with and to figure out and to find who I really was, and went into that. And I dealt with that all out in the open, and getting help and going through sort of put up these walls. And I think we all have this where we watch people deal with pain in different ways. And I think that's a great message to, it's a horror also in people and how they deal with pain. To show how you're somebody how form pain, who she was, and yeah, so pulling from with it, I feel like was a big part of becoming. I wanted to be a strength. This last night, blonde girl at the beginning of the and the next, that wasn't going to necessarily be strong years, and that became my mom. And I guess that's sort of how I prepared to be that strength. Yeah, and message about how you can persevere, even.
It wasn't just an emotionally challenging role. You go through a lot, and it's pretty wild.
It was so got to do that stunt again. Not only was this my first lead in a film, but it was the first time I got to do a fight scene in anything. And I because I just kept throwing myself on the floor. Like, Elizabeth, you don't actually have to keep throwing yourself to the tape, but I wanted to. I was so in it. I was so excited about being badass and kicking ass.
You were, and I've never made a movie, but if I do, I definitely want an actress like you for the lead. Someone who's
yeah. It was exciting that somebody said, "Hey, you're this female character, and you also get to kick this guy's ass today." And I don't know how often female characters get to do that. I think it's becoming more and more often, but I was excited to take that opportunity for sure.
I have something to say about that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm now remembering this. I mean, it was a while ago when we shot it, but now I remember this. We shot this scene where she fights back, and we did it in a oneer. So the whole crew wasn't in the room. It was just me and her. Well, and Dreamcatcher, the fight. So I'm in the room with you, and you kept hitting the ground so hard. I was like, at the end of the take, I'm like, dude, are you okay? And you're like, I got this. I was like, whoa, you like legit, you hit the ground for real. Like, she like smack into the wall, and like a couple of the takes, I heard the wall thud. Like, you could hear the drywall thud. I was like,
You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to like take soft falls, but for some reason I was